Look, we're here to have us a ball. Don't be praying for all the people out there that love us. We love you back. Thank you all. Get ready for an amazing show. Yo. Today is just straight up Trap King versus the Wolfkeeper. I feel like this is like a versus. It's like Timberland versus what was that dude that started the verses? Swiss.
Swizzle. I went to Stone Mountain High School with Swiss Beats.
Hey, you know what today's show gonna be about?
What up?
Let's swap war stories.
I can dig it.
Let's go back to back with music war stories.
Man, I can dig it. I got enough.
So you was that you want to go? You want me to go first? What you want to do?
Go ahead.
You said you
it's
would.
a Wolfkeeper show. You can open up with it.
So Notorious B.I.G. I was at his CD release party 1994, because I used to call. I was so like, I'm gonna be in Bad Boy Records, so I used to call Bad Boy Records when Keisha Combs, Sean Combs' sister, was the receptionist, and she finally was like, "What you want?" I was like, I want to meet y'all. She's like, I gotta have somebody call you back. She hangs up. Same day, this dude named Ward Corbett calls me up, like, "Hey, what's going on? I've heard you've been calling." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get in where I can. I got my demo." He's like, "Come out June, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, and then hung up. And I called back, like, "Hey, what's the address?" Gave me the address. Man, from Minnesota, sophomore in college, jump on a plane. Me and my boy CJK flies out to Brooklyn, and Bad Boy Records. This Bad Boy is so new, they're painting the walls. Like, there's no artists.
Wow.
What's up, Manny? My boy Manny's in the house. And they're like, "Who are these nerds?" I got like on my suit. I got like a JCPenney suit. And they're just like, "Dude, we're gonna give them at least an A for effort." And he's looking at me like, "Dude, like, you want to go to a party tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, gives us a party, tells us where it's at." It's like in the hood of Brooklyn. This is 2004, like DOS Effects era. Timberlands out, dreadlocks, just straight Brooklyn hoodie. You remember that time period? The Tretch era.
Yeah.
And I'm in there with a suit and a briefcase, like some nerds. And then this big black dude comes to the stage, and I'm like, "Dude, that's the lead off artist." Just straight hardcore gangster rapping. Like, I'm like, "Dude, I don't know how Puffy gonna pull that off." And then I swear I was back in my dorm room like 2 months later, and I see Juicy come out. I'm like, okay.
He pulled it off.
He hit him with that Juicy. All right, there's my story. Notorious Big. But in the room that night was CL Smooth was in the house. Q-Tip was there. Heavy D was there. Puffy was. I'm right here in Puffy's. Right, that's how I met Puff in 2000. And I would end up doing street team stuff for them in Chicago. All the Notorious Big stuff, all the Craig Mack stuff, all the Total stuff. For 94, 95 is your boy right here. Straight propping Bad Boy for Chicago. BMG Records, Chicago. Shout out to my man Brian Floyd that put me on. Yeah.
Man, my rap career, I wasn't. It was more of a struggle than anything else. It took me forever to get to anything. But I'll tell you this was hilarious how we met. How me and my homeboy was in a group. We called ourselves Who. You know, we went by Who, and we ended up getting in trouble with the Who, the band, the rock band.
No way.
They had to abbreviate our name down the road. But the way we would meet and get our CDs off was bro. We would like out in Atlanta, so. Most of the clubs back in the day, and they probably was like that everywhere. If you wear a button-up shirt, you wear a button-up shirt with a collar, some dress slacks, or some decent jeans, you can get in for like $25, $30. You ain't got to pay a whole lot of money. So, but if you go in there in a jersey or something like that, you got to pay like $200-something if you about to walk in there with like a basketball jersey on, like an authentic jersey on.
Right.
But so people with jerseys and stuff on, they probably in VIP. They probably in the VIP area. Me and my homeboy, shout out to my homeboy Raheem. He gonna probably crack up that I'm telling people this, but we'll rock our jersey and then throw a cheap old button up on top of the jersey.
Okay.
So we can pay the regular fee.
Okay.
Once we get in, go to the bathroom, dump those button-up shirts.
Wow.
Now we got the jerseys on. Then we walk off in VIP like we on our phone, like we just important. Get up here, and that's how we would always get up there in VIP with every rapper you could think of, just handing out our CDs. And most of them never hit us back.
And
we'll be in there.
What year is this?
Man, this was like what? 01? Man, 01, 2001, 2002. 2003, around that time.
Okay.
Like this is probably around that time. We have been rap, man. I've been doing music my whole life, so
yeah, same here.
I have been rapping on the solo forever, trying to do different stuff. But that's one of the most funniest things I can remember is that we even came up with that to rock the button-up shirts so we could get in for the low price, then throw them out, jump out with the jersey so we could sneak in VIP.
All right. If you all are just tuning in, what Trap King, Sterling Davis, Toriano says is only the Wolfkeeper right now. We're going back and forth for our own verses. We're about to break the internet. We're going back and forth, swapping stories of our music industry days, because before there was the Trap King out saving cats, before there was the Wolfkeeper out there saving dogs, we were both in the music industry. I'll give you one of my stories of fighting to get into the music industry. 1993. No. 1993. I was dead set to work for Jive Records in Chicago because that was R. Kelly's home base. Wayne, shout out to Wayne Williams. So every day, I'm not making this up. Anyone that knows me knows I'm mad persistent. I would be there. They'd open like 9. I'd be there like at 8 a.m. with some donuts, and I'd be just sitting outside. And like for like literally probably for like a month, they were just like, do whatever. I was there religiously. And then finally the reception was just like, you know what? Just come in and like see what happens. So she bring me in. I forget the guy's name who ran the whole thing. When he came in and he saw me, he's like, really? The donut dude's in here? And I was like, dude, I just need a shot. And he was like, man, like, what was that? I can't remember that guy's name. But man, they were like, all right, dude. Then they started letting me clean the studio. Like literally, I was like studio boy. Like studio grunt boy. Like literally. And I swear, man, I was like, I'd be in there just cleaning, just like going nuts cleaning, like you had never had the cleanest studio in the world. And this is like PlayStation or whatever was popular then. I'd have them all like properly lined up, all the games ready, the lounge was ready. Shout out to Mr. Lee from Chicago because he was doing all the remixing. Steve-O, who was the engineer back then, but this was during the R. Kelly when he was remastering History for Michael Jackson. And I don't even remember the rapper Smooth. Remember the female rapper Smooth? Nah.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
That was back then, Smooth. Like, but yeah, man, that was that persistency sitting in that. It wasn't even a parking lot; it was right out front, man. I was like, dude, you all letting me in.
That's how it be, though. That's how you be like, yo, I'm about to make it happen. Like, I think it was Boys to Men when they told their story of how they sung in front of Mike Bivens. I think it was like just what you willing to go through after a while, after doing it for so long. It's like, yo, man, I'll break in this joint just to spin a verse real quick. If they gonna hear me out, I'll break in here. Like, it be like that. I feel you.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Love and Let Grow blog that just joined now. Shout out to Instables that just joined. Anyone else? What we're doing today, we're having our own verses right now. Trap King versus the Wolfkeeper. We're swapping music stories because before we started in the animal industry, Trap helping out the kittens around the world, the Wolfkeeper helping out the puppies around the world. We were both out there doing music is our background. So I just gave a story. Now I'm throwing it back to Trap for another back on how I got into the industry story.
Man, I gotta shout out my homeboy Jaron Benton, Ritz, Snow the Product, Strange Music as a whole for the first major tour. I guess major to me, you know, to a lot of people probably wouldn't be major, but major to me. What was it? The Life and Times tour. I think it was the homie Ritz tour, and that was the first time I had went on like a serious tour. Shout out to my homeboy Jaron Benton, and it was live. Like at the time, I had just stopped. Well, I didn't stop working. I got fired at my little corporate America gig, and I was so mad. I remember going home, and I'm just mad, thinking like, yo, I'm not about to do this no more, man. I can't keep doing these corporate America jobs. Like it's more to life. It's more to me. Like I got to do something else. So I was done. Like I left my apartment. I was living in a hotel. My homeboy Jared hit me up and was like, bruh, like you too dope to just be sitting there doing that. Like come on the road. You know what I'm saying? We'll work on the album. We'll get your stuff together, but come on the road with me. And that, like at that time, Jared had kind of saved my life because I was really at the point like, man, I hustle, I live under a bridge, I do whatever before I go back to this corporate American job. So went on tour and it was crazy. The homie Ritz was crazy. Like Ritz, I don't know if you ever heard of Ritz, but he always got the scully on and the poofed out hair hanging out the bottom. This dude been rapping. He out of Gwinnett, Georgia. He been rapping for a minute. But Ritz was crazy. Snow the Product. She was like dopest. I mean, she one of the dopest female MCs I'd ever seen in a minute. And then my homie Jerry.
Wow.
That was that was my first tour, one of the wildest tours. I'm sitting here as I'm talking, I'm trying to think of what I can and can't say.
Say it all, man. Say it all.
It
all dies here, baby.
It was lit, to say the least.
Man, I love that story, man. You made me go to my tour world, man. Probably a story I love telling is the artist formerly known as Prince, Roger Nelson, extraordinaire, changed the world. And I don't think the world really knew how much influence he had on the world until he. Oh man! I literally, when I found out he died, I literally fell off my stool. I was at home. My ex-wife called me, and she's like, she didn't even say his name. Like he died. And I knew we could both share that commonality, our love for him. But I remember I was blessed to make it in. Shout out to Kurt Johnson, who brought me in and introduced me. And shout out to Tracy Bradshaw, who was his lawyer, who I got lucky to be inside that crew. And he was performing. The artist was performing. He slipped and fell, and he broke the cymbal guitar. And then I was the production assistant, but back then you get the beautiful title of runner. Where's the runner? I'm like, here I am. I'm like, come on. I'm here. You're like, take this guitar to blah, 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 blah. Don't fuck it up. Don't break it again. So I'm like, I got Prince's guitar in the back of my beat up red Sunbird named Little Red. And I'll never forget, man, I'm driving with Prince's guitar in the back of my car, and I'm looking like, dude, like, this is crazy. I'm looking at it like it's a human, like, man, please don't slide or none of that. I'm starting doing one of these, like, like, dude, like, I had never in my life just like, that's how much you love and respect him no matter what level you were on. And that, man, he just had tons of influence over me. And that was like, that really was a life changing, because it's like, one, that was just in the situation because I could do anything. Like, man, I'm out.
And I would have pulled I probably would have fainted taking that man a guitar. Like, I can't believe I'm
Yeah, I love that, man. That was a memorable concert period, and just being around him in general, like just being in his essence, was forever life changing for me.
Man, I can imagine. I can only imagine, bro. That's wild.
For y'all that are just signing on, it's Trap King, Sterling Davis, and Toriano saying today. We're just having fun on this Hump Day, Wednesday, Inauguration Day. Shout out to Big President Joe Biden Jr., you did it, dog. Yeah, and shout out to the beautiful, fabulous Kamala Harris and all those AKAs that are out there going nuts. I see you got on your AKA green. Is that for the AKA sorority? I know you all hold it down in Atlanta.
Nah, I just happen to be rocking the green. Although my little sister is an AKA, so
my aunt's an AKA. Shout out to all the AKAs out there. They're feeling great today, and you all deserve it. You all shout out to Howard University. Everyone that was out of Howard. What we're doing today, Track King and myself, the Wolfkeeper, we're going back and forth with our own verses. If you all don't know about verses, Swiss Beat and Swiss. Oh, what is that? My president is a black. My vice president is a black woman. Of course, look at you, Sterling Davis all over it. The Mighty Timberland and Swiss Beats came up with this concept of verses where they have one artist against another. So Traff and I are doing our own kind of verses right now. We're swapping music industry stories. I just shared a couple. I'm throwing it back to Trap right now.
Yo, so I gotta tell you about this one. This was one of my best feeling moments of performance. One of the, you got your different performance moves. I always have my different performance moves. Like I said, when I was in a group, me and my homie used to call ourselves Who, like the Who. And I don't know, for people that might not know this, the rock group, the Who, was like the first group to just start tearing stuff up after they perform. Like you see bands, they just
I never knew that.
They just tearing stuff
never
up.
Knew that.
So one of the dopest shows was when me and my homie Raheem, we was in a group, and we would go perform at this spot called Blues in the Alley. They have a show.
I love that, Blues in the Alley.
Once a week, and it would be like a 5 to 10 week contest or something like that they would have, and the winner, the artist or the group that won, would get their song played on the radio. So just that Blues in the Alley moment, me and my homie Raheem, how we would just kill it. And after the shows, we would just start. I'm just trying to kick stuff, dropping the mic. Like they had to tell us. Like I remember the dude, the owner, was like, "Hey, love y'all to death. Y'all boys got a lot of talent. Unless you're gonna pay for that mic, you'll stop throwing the mics after the show. Like stop doing it."
Wow.
So that's one of my favorite. Just watching the crowd, loving it, like all the love. We ended up winning the contest. Probably a couple weeks. We was on the radio like a couple times actually. And it's crazy because my homie Jaron Benton, who took it to another level and ended up signing with Rock Nation and everything.
No way.
Would be in the audience looking at us. And all the time Jaron would be like, "Man, y'all boys, wow, y'all really be putting on the show. I couldn't be up there like that." And it's crazy because if you go to see a Jaron Benton show now, you'll be like, "That dude is crazy." Like he surpassed us on a whole nother level. Heck yeah, Jaron Benton. Hey, shout out Jaron Benton, man. I still need to come to your podcast too, dude.
Hold on. That's great, man. I love we're having fun today. For those that are just signing on, I had to log on to another account right here so I can monitor what's happening on Facebook. So
that man's got accounts all over the place.
They're all over the place. But
I can't never keep up with all of it. People be telling me, "Yo, yeah, it was you. We was talking the other day about what is it? Clubhouse."
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I can't even handle it.
You gotta get on and get involved, my dog. One of my favorite performance stories this is when I had my rap group, man. I don't even remember which rap group this was, but then my first album that I bought was Boogie Down Production, Criminal Minded. That was the first album I went to Sam Goody, North Riverside Mall, went to Sam Goody and bought. My grandmother said, "You can pick one." And I remember I picked Boogie Down Production, Criminal Minded in 1988. Wow. So fast forward, I was at a KRS-One concert, and he was just like, "Man, you know what? We need to get some local MCs up here." And then I'm like, "Is there any local MCs?" And I was like, and he's like, "This guy right here." So I was on stage freestyling with KRS-One, man. That was like, as far as like performance wise, I never did any like major tours. And I was tour support, but I never was on the stage with anyone performing. But my only performance experience was on stage with KRS-One rapping, which that was enough for me for a lifetime.
Bro, that's enough. Period. That's it with KRS-One.
Dude,
like,
it was me and
bro.
KRS-One on stage.
Man.
The teacher. Boogie down production, we'll always get paid. We'll take the wackest song and make it better. Remember to let us into your school.
That, not KRS-One.
Did I get you? Woo! I think I'm. Hey, man, I was deep in it, man. Let me come back with the another performance thing, man. I was at Seal's concert. This is production assistant. Seal.
Wow.
Yeah, I was Seal's production assistant. I can't make this up. He was like, you know what? Let's just go on tour. Like, just roll with us. Like, he came into Minneapolis. I was the runner. And we met, man. It was like bromance. It was weird, man. It was like bromance, like me and Seal. And I remember, like, and that's why I tell people, man, always pursue don't be afraid of nothing, man, because life is short. You know what I mean? And that's when sometimes people say, I get criticized a lot, man. You move so fast, Toriano. You move so fast. And it's like, it's not that I move fast. It's not that I don't think about stuff, but I just been blessed with so many situations. I've come across so many people from the music industry and opportunities that I just didn't take because I was afraid. You mean, but I remember when Seal personally was like, "Hey, let's go, like go, like let's go." He was like, "Yeah, let's go, like let's roll." Like, and I didn't do it. You mean, which I was huge. Shout out to Seal and that crew back then. For those that are just yeah.
Hold up. I got another. Let me tell you about this. I got a performance story. This was crazy. I can't believe I forgot about this one. The spot I perform at called and I did this performance about 3 different times in Atlanta. But the spot, I think the main spot was like Apache. It's a spot called Apache in Atlanta. Shout out to the homie Abyss from Detroit. Shout out to DJ Vinyl Richie, always running the Apache. But I had so it was, competition heavy with these open mics. Everybody got bars, everybody dudes coming out with instruments. So I'm like, I had a song called Off My Meds. So I had got this wheelchair from the Goodwill. So the plan was I was gonna just start going in spots in the wheelchair. Like just playing the whole part, like I'm in the wheelchair. Like I had dudes lift me up on stage in the wheelchair. And the song is called Off My Bed. So when the hook come in, it's like, bitch, I'm off my meds. And I just leap up out the wheelchair after like spitting one verse, sitting in the wheelchair. I've been in this wheelchair the whole night.
Wow.
And now I'm on stage and the hook drop and I leap up out the wheelchair. And I'm talking about every time I did this performance, bruh, everybody lost their mind. Like, wow. When I tell you, one DJ at one spot hit the mic and was like, oh, one bartender told me, was like, I thought it was a miracle from God. Like, he could walk all of a sudden. I couldn't believe it. Like, every time I did this performance, people was losing their mind. Like, dude, I even offended a few people. I tried to do it again at a different location. And when I came in my stage, everybody called me sick. I went by unwell or sick. So I'm rolling in the wheelchair. I started rolling in spots, and people be like, no, you can't do that here. Like, I have somebody that's actually in the wheelchair performing tonight. Like, you can't.
Oh, man. That's wild, bro.
I say, you made me think of that because Fake Favors are fearless. Like, he was talking about being afraid. Because my homeboy, he would be like, Cheryl, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not about to roll you in here. I'm not going to hell with you.
That's some crazy juju too you putting out there, man. Dude, I've heard a lot of stuff, man, but that's definitely up there, man. If anyone thought I was maybe in the lead with swapping these old war stories, I just lost the lead because I wouldn't even do that. I don't even like touching crutches or wheelchairs like that. I just feel like it's putting like that energy out there that I don't want to be a part of. But dude,
that's what my homeboys say that all the time. They be like, man, you shouldn't do that, man. You're gonna end up handicapped. Like, you shouldn't play around with that. And I was like, I'm putting on the show. I'm putting on the show. And they'd be like, no. Hey, my homeboy really, he would come to the show and he would roll me across the street to get. I I'd be like, I can't walk. I can't let people see me walk, and he'd be like, I'm not pushing you. I'm not pushing you. I'm not doing that.
That's definitely up there. Shout out to everyone, anyone that's just tuning in. We're 25 minutes into the Wolfkeeper show. I'm here with Trap King, Sterling Davis, and Toriano saying it's only the Wolfkeeper, and we're swapping stories. We're going back and forth verses. We're talking about when we were in the music industry and how we got started. And because before there were animals, we were dealing with the animals in the music industry. And I don't really have a big combat other than this right here. I just thought about that.
Yo, who that? I can't see.
It's
Okay.
Toriano Sanzoni, Beautiful Darkness. Let me show you all my album cover.
Oh, what? I don't even know this guy. What? Wow.
Hey, but I got best R&B album of the year in Minneapolis when this came out for like our city pages, which is everyone has the local newspaper. But shout out to my boy Wes Shook, who's no longer with us, and Two Fish Studios, and Christy Shook and Luke Fader, who produced this, and my man Yuki Thin Bow Tuck Feet, my sons. But yeah, that's back when we were doing it, man. We were like, remember these things? You know what this is?
Oh yeah.
You're too young, right. Man. You don't. This is before your time, Trap. You don't know.
No, I could be something about
You're like you're one of those You're part of the download generation. You're not. This is a little before your time. This is This is a CD for people that don't know. These are called CDs.
Like we used to be up at Metro Brokers. I used to have a job at Metro Brokers. Me and my homie E that I was in the group with. We'd be up at the job, Metro Brokers, selling CDs, man. Trying to tell everybody at the job, y'all gotta support us, man.
That was a big thing, man. Doing pumping CDs out of the trunk, man.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. That was after every performance. We set up our little birth table. We selling CDs and shirts or whatever else we got going. That was the hustle, man.
Yeah, man. Is that your story? Is it back on me, or you got another story you about to drop on us?
I'm trying to think what else. Because
you raised the bar for yourself when you dropped the wheelchair, man. I can't even You brought me someplace else with that one, man. Now you were rocking with Tech Nine though, right? What's the Tech Nine story?
Well, Tech Nine, the dude Jared Bent, I told you. When we went on the Life and Times tour, the next tour was with Tech Nine because he was with Strange Music.
Okay.
So the next tour after that Life and Times tour I was telling you about was with Tech Nine, and Tech actually came out, and I got to meet him before. He came out on that Life and Times tour when we was in where was we at? Some weird town in Chicago. I mean, some weird town in Illinois, not Chicago. Some weird town outside of Chicago.
Okay.
And I got to meet him then. But and I saw him perform too. I mean, Tech is Tech, man. Like the best independent artist, the biggest selling independent artist,
dude,
probably.
Tech's a beast, man, and he's been doing that for a minute.
Yeah, man. Tech, you feel like you're gonna get some knock back then when if you're trying to do your own thing independently like that, just being around him, you feel like you're soaking up knowledge. Like you feel like you're getting energy of, yeah, I could do this, man. I ain't got to sign no record deal. Because at first that was the thing. We was looking for that record deal. Mm-hmm. Tech made it seem like, you know what? The internet is here. I don't have to sign no deal. Like, I don't need no record company to control me or put me on some 360 where they get me. Like, I could independently put my stuff out. So shout out to homie Tech, because he definitely put me on that. He'll get you in that mind frame and like, man, I'm just gonna do it.
And he was when you say that, that also too reminds me of when I was working at Priority Records when No Limit Records. Oh yeah.
This guy.
I was in it, man.
I didn't even know you back in the day.
Yeah, I was at Priority Records, and that's when you just made me think of independent records. Priority. That's when No Limit Records that came over to Priority. So we had all the No Limit stuff. And I'll never forget, man, Master P gave like a whole, this is when No Limit wasn't really popping. And Master P had like a whole convention hall. Like he had like wanted all the retailers up there. And he got up there and it might as well have been Bill Gates. He like broke it down like the stock. He's like, you know what? Thank you everyone for your support. You guys have been great for supporting No Limit. You just stay with us during this time period. We're gonna get through it. We have this. Like he gave one of the best, elegant presentations. You know what I mean? That you just like everyone was sitting there like, dude, No Limit. Like actor was like, but you made me think about that when because that would carry over to like all my business, aptitude and trajectory of like seeing people like Master P that were moving. Puff Daddy made an amazing quote I'll never forget about Master P that I don't know how he did it. How did he move that many records out of his trunk off the street? But that people forget back then from I would say probably up until, what would you say, like 2000, you couldn't even play anything other than a South rapper in the South. Like for real. I remember being in an Atlanta club and someone played some Jay-Z. And I promise you, they almost, this was maybe like, this was like 97, 98. It was like 97, 98, and I think they almost tore that club up, like for real. It was like screw. The DJ was like, I'm like, dude, I even know that. I'm from Chicago. You can't play the East Coast or West Coast because the South was so incubated, and from a marketing sales stance, they moved a lot of product because the South only dealt with the South.
When I came from, because I had, my folks traveled like gypsies, so I was born in Detroit, but I've lived in Cali. I've lived in Seattle, Washington. We moved out to Atlanta, me, my aunt, and my bro, we drove down in a Greyhound 3 days to Atlanta. And it was so different. Like you said, it was so incubated. Like it was their own little world. Like the music, everything, even the language. That was my first time. When I came to Atlanta, bro, I had never heard that Southern dialect like that. Like this chick, this is what she literally was like, "Hey, boy, you fine with your idea?" And I remember jumping back and looking at my little brother like, I don't even know what she just said. Like, I have no idea what she just said to me.
Right.
Like and everybody calling me proper because, like I said, I'm coming from Detroit, Cali. You go to Cali, everybody can say proper. So I'm like, I have no idea what you said. It's crazy that I got homeboys now that I understand everything they saying, even down to when they say bike. First time I heard somebody say bike instead of back.
Right.
That's when it's Southern for real. It's like, hey, so I'll be right back. And I'm like, what you just say?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that I can even understand that now. But like what you were saying, it's this whole world. ATL, that music scene, you couldn't play no Jay-Z, no Up North, no nothing. And everything I heard was No Limit. But like, from the 96 Free Pick, a lot of people don't remember Free Pick. From the 96 Free Pick to like probably 98, 99, I couldn't hear nothing but No Limit.
And what was that favorite phrase? The South got something to say.
Yeah, 3 stacks. 3 stacks was like, the South got something to say. I was like, man,
the South got something to say.
Look at the South.
The South got some. Yeah, that. Let me see a story that I got a story for you. So in 1990, I'm at BMG Records, and my first project, like on my own, was like Usher, and he's like, I'm like 20, he's like 15, and I'm like, his album just came out, and I'm like, man, like, let's do this. It was like, that's when he was young. He was a kid. Like, it was him and his mom. And like, I told him, like, man, what I want to do is a Black History Month where if these little girls write in like their best Black History Month essay, they get like to hang out with Usher, and like we're going to throw like a little dinner party. So I was like, I get all these little girls and your moms, and we like it was kind of weird now I think back in hindsight, because like I booked out this hotel room. It's so weird. This is weird. Not even a ballroom. So it was like Usher, his mom, and like 20 little teenagers and their mom. And I just remember like sitting there like, I guess it was kind of a success, but not really, but not quite. But that was, man.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. That was I remember that, man. Those
little girls used to love Usher. The girls still love Usher.
That was 94. Thank you for everyone that's just tuning in. Who we got? I can't even pronounce Panacadorum. What's up? Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody out there. Aruna Pune. Is that what I'm saying right? Shout out to everyone out there that's listening. Trap, Sterling Davis, myself. We're just over here swapping music industry war stories, because before we were rocking with the animals, with the cats and the dogs, we were out there rocking and rolling. So we're going back and forth with war stories, creating our own verses. It's back on.
Even when I was doing music, I still was on cats. My cat.
Yeah.
I had a cat named Rick James, and even before Rick James, I had a cat named Hennessy. I had a cat named Cassius.
Okay.
Like I've been having cats forever, but Rick James was like, that was my dude. Like he's still on my phone right now. If I pull up he like the screensaver on my phone to this day. He just passed my last birthday last year, so. But I remember being on tour with Jaron and Kato. Shout out Kato, the producer. And Kato, it's been like, what was we on? I don't know if we was on a tour bus or if we had just rented like a Suburban or something going to in between cities. But wherever we was, Kato was in the back sleep. And I had been talking about Rick James, like I've just mentioned, talking about Rick this, Rick that, for like 2 weeks on this tour already. And Kato, we was riding somewhere. He jumped in the back and he was like, "Wait, did I just hear you say Rick is a cat?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Bro, you've been talking about Rick this whole time. I thought that was your brother. I thought it was a real person.
Wow.
That's how much you've been talking about this cat." That's one of the reasons why I was like, man, maybe I do need to get into some cats a little bit more, do something with that. Because I had literally the whole tour been talking about Rick. Kato didn't even know Rick wasn't a person or my brother. He was like, "Man, I thought you was related to some dude named Rick. I did not know you was talking about a cat named Rick James. You've been talking about this cat the whole damn tour, bro. You need to work with animals or something." I had even made a song called Water. And it sounded like, I remember Kato telling me, he was like, "You sound like an angry vegan." Like the whole song was about, we need to drink more water and the food we eat. It was wild. It was wild.
Wow.
It was a wild song.
Man,
even with the music, man, it was back. It's crazy how you don't see stuff like that now. Like as much as even though I had been a vegetarian since like 12 years old, loving animals, always been around cats, I still never thought that I was going to do something with animals later on. Like you couldn't tell me I wasn't either going to hoop or rap. Like flat out, like especially as the teen, I was like, man, I'm going to the NBA. You can't tell me I'm not Iverson. You can't. You can't tell me I'm not Iverson out here.
Man, that when you say that, I feel the same way, man. There was no way I wasn't going to, destroy and rearrange and create the entire music industry. That's all I knew. But you know what? It's funny that you made me just think about. When I was in the music industry in '96, I bought a boxer named Soldier, and then I loved this dog. It was Soldier, SOELJA, Soldier, and I trained the heck out of that dog. So that was like my sidekick. So it was like I was doing music and rapping, but then I always had this boxer. I had him so well trained. I had him off leash trained all the time. So that was like '96, like a prelude to like maybe. But you know what's interesting too is like, man, just think if we would have gotten into the animal industry then. At that point, there's no animal icons. There's no internet. Except for like the old timers that were like that were doing stuff, like Ed Frawley, shout out Ed Frawley out in Menominee, Wisconsin, that was doing Lurberg Kennels and stuff like that, or like people that were just kind of like very niche. Like you had to be in the animal industry to know them. It wasn't like no one could name any popular national dog trainer or cat behavior or certain.
Yeah.
But just think how much has changed.
It took a minute for me to know. It took a minute. When the first time I saw Jackson Galaxy, I was like, wow. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe a dude had a show working with cats. Like, this is a guy.
Because prior to that, the only thing that we really had regarding animal shows probably was Steve Irving.
Right, I was about to say Steve Irwin was about the only thing I saw being Jackson, and the fact that Jackson came from music. Like when I met him, that's his whole background. He was doing music. He was trying to start going tour and do music, and he just started working at a shelter, like so similar to what I did. And then they started calling him the Cat Man. And he just fell off into that whole world.
Wow!
But that was the same like. Like when I first met him, that was literally our conversation. He was like, "Oh, you like the black version of me?" And I was like, "Yep, exactly." and it literally was like that. But until him, man, I didn't see nobody. I just never would have saw. And definitely, I would have never thought that a dude, because for me, my homeboys always made fun of me. Like all my homeboys made fun of me. Like, man, you got the damn cats, bro. Like, you need to get a dog. Like, why?
She's like, you need to get a dog.
Why you have a cat?
Right.
Like, you're the only dude I know that have a cat. Even the women I date, they be like, it was one thing with the nails, you paint your nails, but the cat, that's where I draw the line. Like, that's it. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Right.
I'd have plenty of women tell me that. Like, I'm not going to deal with that cat. That's not
it. Because everyone's just not into cats. I mean, so that's super awesome, man. But what would you say are some of the things that you learned from the music industry that carried over to the animal industry?
Man, so what, in music, like in music, bro, we want our music to stay authentic and still cross genres somehow. I want my music to stay authentic, and it's hip hop. I want to stick with the culture, but at the same time, I want people to listen to rock to hear this as well. I want people to listen to country to hear this as well. So with Animal Rescue, with TNR, that's my approach to it. Like, I don't want to knock this group, that group, this group, no group. I want to spread the word. I want it to cross all genres, all demographics. So I think from anything with music like that is that learning that approach from music and taking it in the rescue. Because a lot of times cat rescue is vicious, bro. It's not a like, for me coming from hip hop, one of the most competitive and aggressive art forms, and going to cat rescue, I can tell you, cat rescue might be a little more aggressive than hip hop as far as the competitiveness of it. So it's real important for me to not get into the back and forth. Oh, I don't like this person. I don't want to work with this person. Screw you. Like, I really try to, the same approach that I would with music. I'm not about to just be out here not working with this person or dissing this person. And you know what? That brings me to another an important story, man. A real important story.
Sure.
Me and my homeboy Raheem, we was in a group. We used to make fun of rappers, certain rappers. Like, certain rappers, you just be like, man, they whack. I'm better than them. If we was out, we'd be killing them. So this is around the time where I think 50 Cent was starting to kill Ja Rule. So me and my homeboy would just be making fun of Ja Rule. Anybody with a bad verse, he'd be like, you sound like Ja Rule, bro. That's like,
damn.
You sound like Ja Rule. We just killing Ja Rule. We met a producer, and dude had money. We could tell when we went to the studio, it was like, man, we don't have to work with this dude. He got everything in here. Like, he got like a 7-room studio. He just, like, you could tell he got money and he doing it. And we in there joking, and we just started our Ja Rule jokes. And dude was like, y'all boys gonna learn something about this industry. Ja Rule is my cousin. He was like, if y'all go around and y'all doing that, you be to messed up a real serious opportunity. He was like, if I took that personal, I probably could just tell y'all to get out the studio right now. The whole time y'all sat here and had jokes about Ja Rule. It's like, watch what you say and who you saying. Don't hate on nobody. If you don't like what they doing, then you don't like what they doing. But you don't out your mouth hate like that because you never know who around or what opportunity you blow with that. And that again, that's the approach that I try to take with cat res too, because the cat res people would do it. You hear somebody talking bad about Kitten Lady, and they don't know, like, I know her. You know what I'm saying? That we hung out. Like, you might be speaking something bad for yourself or messing up an opportunity for yourself. So I learned that from music, and not just music and going into cat rescue, but life as a whole.
Man, you know what? You just brought up a super interesting point, man, because that's super true, man. That, and in fact, I've experienced that too before, of like, don't like underestimate, don't talk crap about even celebrities, man. I mean, we all can poke fun of them sometimes and quote unquote, what's a celebrity? I mean, there are people just like you, and you never know when you're going to be hanging out or bump into someone, especially like, and another one of my artist stories is that I have a friend, actually he's a really great friend, we've known him for 23 years, Sean Hoagland. He loves the artist, he loves Prince, and then I do too. But it used to be super easy to get under his skin. Like super duper easy to get under his skin. So I'd be like the little purple guy. He's like, don't say that. I'm like, dude, I'm just messing with you, man. It's like, and then I can't even tell you how I ended up in this situation, but I ended up in this situation where it's me, it's Prince, and this model. And she's like 6'3", just ambiguous race, just like Dendera the goddess, like Zeus himself made her, right? And like, I'm just like, I don't know how, I can't even, we're all in this store called Go Home in Minneapolis. And I'm like hanging out, like, and I just remember like, man, it's like, man, it's just me and him one-on-one, and he's just like pointing at stuff, like whatever he points at, she's like, wrap this up for him. She's just like running around like on like she's like, and then he looks at me like, yeah, that's dope, right? Whatever I point at, she's wrapping up, and I'm just like, I don't even know how I'm hanging out with you, how to get to this point where there's no bodyguard. But part of it too, I'm just thinking in my mind like, you don't know I call you the little purple guy, and like I wish I don't say that, but I want to have a real conversation like right now. You know what I mean? So you might be hanging out with Trump one day, or any person that you talking crap. Like, it could be something random. Like, I don't know how we ended up in this cafe together. I don't know where his security was. Because that actually, quick story, that happened to me too with I feel so blessed. That happened to me with Jamie Foxx, where like I don't know how me and Jamie Foxx ended up at this bar. Like he's by himself, I'm by myself, and we're in Malibu, California, just like straight going in. You know what I mean? Now I'm just brainstorming. Same thing with Cuba Gooding Jr. One day me and Cuba Gooding Jr. like straight kicking. In fact, shout out to Cuba. I'm gonna throw a little shout out there. But I was like, man, I gotta go, dog. Like, cause he was like, also like, man, you wanna deal? Like, I remember we like exchanged numbers. I was like, I gotta bounce though. Like, he was like on some like, just I guess like having one of those days where I just need to talk to somebody. But
wow,
you just made me think of that, man. You never know if you out and about. You never know who you gonna bump into on some just straight up like, don't say nothing, because I think like the universe. Well, whether it's a person that's just local and no one knows them from Adam, all the way to like. Well, you was hanging out with Drew Barrymore. How was that, man? Was she cool?
That's crazy, bro. That's still crazy. I was still sitting there looking like when she joked around, like somebody, like one of her employees was hiding up under her desk and scared her. And she jumped back and was like, oh shit, stop fucking around. And to hear her curse, like in real life curse, like not a movie curse.
Right. You was right there. Like
I'm just sitting there like, wow, this is crazy. I'm just sitting here interacting with this. I haven't seen all your movies. Like I remember riding in the car with the boys. Like I remember like Firestarter. Like
no, so she was a shorty. Like that was like going back to Barrymore. It goes back to What was that scary movie? First one she was in.
That was the Firestarter, right? But
no,
the name was different.
She go back to before then. Isn't that Drew Barrymore Poltergeist?
Is it? Was it?
Was that her first movie? We need to fun fact this.
I know. We need a fact checker.
We need a fact checker.
Man, just this whole past year, some of the stuff, just some of the people I done met, and some of the stuff that happened is still crazy. It's crazy to see somebody walk up to me in a grocery store and be like, "Are you trapping?" Like that
feels good, man.
In South America, that happened to me and my little brother. My little brother was like, "This is crazy." We was at the airport in South America, and a woman walked up to me and she was like, "I know you don't know me, but I think I know who you are. But you're not from here. I'm surprised to see you over here. But are you trap game?" Man, I was like, "That's crazy, bro."
Oh, we both tripping, bro. We both tripping. You know where we know Drew Barrymore, the first movie? E.T.
E.T. And you know why I don't remember that as much? Because unlike most kids, I was terrified of E.T. when I was little.
Word?
You know, most kids, man, I didn't want nothing to do with E.T. I was like, yo, why are they letting these kids play with that alien? And he's scary. Like, I was like, yo, this isn't it. Like, I was like, you gotta do that. Like,
shout out to
I was
E.T.,
so
man.
I was afraid of E.T. and I was terrified of Michael Jackson at first because of Thriller. Like,
I can see that.
I had liked Michael Jackson and then Thriller dropped, and I remember looking up at my auntie and was like, did Michael Jackson just turn into a dog?
Right.
And like for a couple weeks, I wasn't feeling like, I was like, yo, I'm not.
Man.
Nope.
I can see that though, man. I can see that. But yeah, that
E.T. wasn't
E.T. That's where we. She wasn't the poltergeist. Because poltergeist was the little girl and like they're here. Remember that?
And she was doing the backwards joint, whatever. Wasn't she like the crazy?
No, you got the wrong movie, man. Get your movies
What
right.
is that, Hellraiser? Man, I'm getting my scary movies mixed up.
You got me all mixed. You had me mixed up for a second, man. You made me go fact check something, man. No, I said poltergeist. No, that was anyway, we're way off topic now. Man, we killed, man. This was fun, man. I enjoyed this right here. This was super fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was needed, so I don't sit here and just go politics crazy, staring at that forever.
Oh, we have a new president officially. Joey B. Joe Budden is in there.
Joe Buttons. He in.
Joe Budden's in there about to redecorate the White House. Man.
They I mean, I think it's good that nobody is reporting. I don't see nobody reporting anything crazy going on, so that's good.
Oh no, dude! And thank you for the service of all the men and women. No, they sent 20,000 troops up there.
Man.
They was not playing today. They were like, y'all, we learned our lesson. Fool us once, not again.
Right.
They was like security for like Jay-Z. They was like, no one's getting in the club today. No.